Two-part brake shoes, I hear you say. Self-assembly required. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be servicing our iforwilliams. We need to do the brakes on it. We've got to change the wheels and change the wheel bearings, as well as a few other things. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on with it. So I'm going to be removing the brake drum from this trailer. So first things first, just pry this off. There's two little flats, like there and there. So now we've got the cap off. You've got this big nut here, which I think is a 34mm. I don't have a 34mm, but I've got something close that fits. So put it on there. A good dig grip. Take a 17mm, and on the back of the drum, just there, that's the slag adjuster, or the brake adjuster. It can be quite stiff if you haven't turned it for a while, so you need to turn it like you're undoing a normal bolt. Obviously this is at the back, so it's opposite, and I've got to pull back for this. I need two hands though. So once the nut's undone and the brake adjuster's done on the back, you can slide these drums off. Sometimes it's really stiff, but that one came off really easily, so I'll try and do it without putting the wheel back on, but worst way is I'll put the wheel back on and slide it off. So to take the shoes off, I'm removing this little locking thing here, locking spring. So I pulled that bottom side out there, and this is two-part, this top one here. That's how the reverse brakes work, by pushing down as the wheel spins backwards. So we've got to, like that, take that spring off first. So just twist it and unhook it. And as soon as it's unhooked, it pulls apart. Just like that, voila. So this brake actuator comes apart. So it's got a little hook in the middle there. Just unhook it from that. That just slots over the cable. Got that and that. And we're going to replace these cables. So all you need to do is grip onto there. It's a bit tight, but there you go. That also comes apart. And there we go. So what I'm going to do is take this apart, the adjuster, and then clean that up, copper slip the adjuster there so it doesn't seize like it had done just now. That's that out. And then these two little tab pieces. Actually, one already fell out. So I'm just laid underneath it now. There's where I cut all the cables from that mechanism. So what I'm going to do now, what's handy about cutting all of them, is that also you can see I've WD-40'd it. A socket just fits over that now. Put some grips on the back of it. I can just unwind them, get some new cables, and replace them pretty quickly and easily. Annoyingly, I left these all a little bit too long, so I'm just going to cut them flush. I'm taking these off as well, and I'm going to measure them and then order some new cables.
Right, so as you know, Kimberly has removed all the hubs and the brakes and everything else, and also the bearings, which weren't very good. In fact, one of them had really given up the ghost. But we have managed to get 4 new bearings from Bearing Boys, of course, and we've now got to push these into the actual hub, which Kimberly's turned down on the lathe, so it's taken all the high spots out, and one of them was fairly badly scored, so that's all good to go. So at least we've got a good point to start from when we're setting up the new brakes. There's no point putting new brakes in and then just ripping them apart again. So they're all good to go. So now we've got to press those into there. Now, one of the main reasons I use bearing boys, obviously they got bearings, but they got a load of other stuff as well. The main thing for us is that we get often same day delivery if we order stuff early enough. If not, it's there the next day. So yeah, that's a big bonus to us. So there we go. Like I said, these have now all got to go there.
So I've just barely ground down the edge of this here. It didn't need much because it was only just catching.
Okay, so you saw how Kimberly disassembled all this, and now we've got the new bearings in the hubs, which have obviously been turned as well, so they're good to go. We've got to put new brake shoes in here and reassemble it all. So here we go. Right, new brake shoes as opposed to the old ones.
Right, so with these shoes, they're sided, so left and right side. So essentially, for how the brake works, is this is the left side of the trailer. So if it's going forward and it brakes, it pushes it out. But if it's going backwards and you're starting to move, the brake will slide inside itself backwards like that, which takes the brake off of that then.
So is it when you're reversing and that?
Yes,
exactly. When it comes off, yeah.
So we start by putting the springs in there. So I put them together, which is the easiest way, is by hooking that on first. Oops, it's come off of there. So that's hooked on there. Slot that on there. Slot that on there. And then you've got these longer springs. So the longer one hooks on there. Hooks on there. And that's built out ready to just fit back on. So this is the brake adjuster. The bolt I've put 243 Loctite on. They had it on in the pictures of new ones I was looking at. These have cleaned up. So essentially, they just, as you tighten it up, it just slides in and out, which spreads them apart or pulls them in. But you'll see that in a minute. So that slots in there like that. So I find it easier to wind the bolt into the adjuster till it's flush with the outside, and then, oops, and then fit that. So the little tab is at the back. Same with the underside, but you need to do that with the brake in place. Little bar onto one of the Allen bolts behind, which holds the back plate on. Lift it up.
Bit of tension on there now. Jump straight in.
Like that.
Right, so that's the little back plate locator bit. Spring. That just stops that flapping forward, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's located. You've got to put them in and turn them 180 degrees. Irrespective of where that little line is, it needs to just be turned 180, and it sits in a little hole in the back there. Mm-hmm. So that's in now.
So there's new cables fitted. That's just obviously removing the bottom one at the moment because there's no drum around there, but once you adjust them, they'll work, you know, together. Like I say, it's worth doing, and these are stainless cables, proper genuine parts.
Not ones.
Yeah.
Not original. Sometimes they don't seat easily. Oh, that one went in perfect.
Brilliant. So it's got the new bearings from Bearing Boys.
If they don't seat easily, I've got this spacer here, so I just use that on the inner races and just carefully tap it.
That way you're not going to damage any seals or anything, are you? So that's running freely.
Is it just a little bit more than half a ton?
Yep.
If that was wound on again now, that would freely turn. Well, I'll show you.
Right on again.
So it's a bit tighter that way, but it turns easily that way because the brake shoe moves backwards as you reverse.
Yeah.
See there, look, I can only just turn it.
But if you go backwards, it'll go.
It goes backwards easily.
Yeah. So now I've got to just torque the hub nuts up, and they're set to 350.
And the mother bent down and said, I need about 350.
Right, I mentioned earlier about having to fit new brake cables. Well, here's the reason why. Why is that, Kimberly?
It's because they're sea solid.
There's not a lot of movement there, is there? So it was. I just can't understand why people don't do it. It's not too big a job to do, and for the price of them, you know, you're not going to run any oil down them and free them up. Just put new ones on. Say we've got the stainless type on, so hopefully be trouble free, as long as we keep them adjusted, mind you. Right, so we've just got to feed the cables through. They go like that, and then like that. And they go through this plate. So that way, they should all come into line with the actual mechanism that pulls it, and we'll show you that in a moment. Right, so I've put these nuts on here on this plate. Now this plate is the mechanism at the front, you know, where you put your handbrake on, and when the trailer overruns and applies all the brakes, well, this is the rod, and it operates all four, you know, together. So now what we've got to do is adjust at the front end, and then from the back here we can actually then get it all so it's ready to apply. So when it does overrun, the brakes come on evenly. Right, so iforwilliams trailer, well, overhaul I suppose. We've put on new bearings. What was he? Bearing boys. We put on new brake shoes. What else?
Brake cables?
Brake cables, yeah. We did the, well, you turned the hubs so that they were weren't all grooved and whatever. You did them on your lathe. Yeah, so new bearings. That we've also got new wheels and tires. You can see that, and these are they're called Wander or something. And wander all over the road, but they look good, and they're from iforwilliams, so that's all good. So new wheels and tires, obviously new hubcaps. This end we've changed this from, it was a ring, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a ring to a hitch.
To a proper hitch. Again, it's a knot hitch. No, it's not a hitch. No, it's done by Knot, the people that make the whole unit there. So we've done it all factory, as you can see there. Look. New handbrake, new breakaway cable, new handle. Got a new damper on the inside, new seals, resealed all this inside and all the bits that go with that. Jockey wheel, new jockey wheel there as well. And obviously you saw us do the brakes with, and that's that rod that connects underside where all the four cables come to. So there we go.
So fast forwarding a few months now, it's winter and we're just replacing the lights finally. One of them isn't working and we spent ages trying to find the lights we want, and we finally found them, so let's get on with it. So those are what's on there. And we've got these, which are Britax. So we've got those to go on, and we've also got some Durite spotlights to go on for reverse lights either side of this. just the other side to do now. As easy as that, these reverse lights. So I'm going to put them one either side there, sort of pointing over each side, sort of not quite 45 degrees, but at least it's out of the way then, nothing can smash it. So as you've just seen, we've got the brakes done, the wheels done, and the wheel bearings, as well as the lights, which is really good. So the trailer's had quite a sort of overhaul, quite the overhaul. So it's just sort of ready for use now. But if you liked the video, like and subscribe and all that jazz, and we'll see you on the next one.